How do you decide who is the right coach or mentor for you? Which is the right program for you at this stage in your entrepreneurial journey? There are so many coaches out there that it can be super overwhelming trying to decide who is the right one for you at whatever stage you might be in on your journey to grow your business. And as human beings, it's quite normal for us to turn into squirrels and chase after every shiny object we see. And what happens when we do that is we often end up in programs and working with coaches who don't give us the type of support we need, and we don't get the results that we desire. And then that can be really frustrating. And often we can start to feel bad about ourselves. We can start to feel bad about coaching. We can turn into this place where we don't want to invest anymore, but we know we need support. And so there's this internal conflict of knowing you want to get support because you want to grow much faster than you could if you were on your own and trying to figure it out yourself. And this nervousness about who is the right mentor or coach for you and what is the right program. Do they have the program that is what is going to support you in your business growth? I want to share with you 3 things to consider before investing. So part of this, even before those 3 things, is to come from that place of mindfulness. So instead of jumping out of emotion and out of impulse, that, in psychology, the stimulus response, you're in pain and you jump and you grab the first shiny object you can to try and alleviate that pain. And when we make those types of impulsive decisions, they don't always end up being the right decisions for us. So prior to the 3 steps is to take a moment and to ground yourself and allow yourself to just be present with where you are, where you would like to go in your business, all the things that you've done before, and where you are feeling that you need additional support. Then, coming from that place of empowered decision making, not needing to have a fix or needing to get that hit of relief, but knowing going on this journey of building and growing your business is a lifelong journey. It's your passion, it's your mission, it's your purpose. And so you want to be very deliberate and mindful about who you allow into your business in terms of who you hire for support. So once you're in that more objective space and letting yourself remove yourself a little bit from the emotion of feeling like you need to fix this, you need to fix it now, knowing you will get the right support and there is time for you to decide who is the right mentor for you. Now, the first thing that I would encourage you to consider is when you're looking at different coaches or mentors to hire and the different programs that they might be offering, is to explore their background and story. So what have they been through? What are the different types of things that they've done? What is their lens through which they look at the world? So for example, for me, in my business journey, I wouldn't want to work with someone that had never struggled, who maybe got their coaching certification, filled their practice, and their practice has been full ever since, and they've never had any downturn, any breaks as far as like up and down sales. It's just been smooth sailing. That person wouldn't resonate with me because to me, I really value working with someone that has had the experience of difficulties, of they've had to go really deep in order to overcome those difficulties. And what they learned in that place of overcoming those difficulties is what I am drawn to, because that's when, the true person, the true essence of a person comes through. Is that, that resilience and that resourcefulness, that creativity. And so that is what draws me when I'm looking for a coach is, what are their struggles and what are all the things that they have done and why? Why did they choose to go down certain paths and study certain things? That is what I am drawn to because I want to work with someone that has stamina because I've also had my struggles. And so the other part of this is it tends to be this looking for someone that has been on a similar path as you. So because I've had to overcome certain struggles, I want to work with someone that also has had overcome certain struggles. Otherwise, I would feel like there would be this friction, like they wouldn't really understand. They'd be like, well, just get over it. Why are you having such a hard time? And I don't grow when I'm being bullied. I grow from a place of letting go of judgment and entering into a place of acceptance and seeing and building from our strengths. So that's my style, and that's who and what I look for in a mentor as well. The second thing to consider is, what is their program and process? How people guide their clients to transformation is different. It's unique to every single coach and mentor. And so you want to understand, how is it that they do that? And if they are doing it in a way that you feel like will be really difficult for you and you don't really have a deep understanding, you might end up not getting the results. So you might need someone who either is able to explain their process at a deeper level or to guide you through a different pace. For example, if you are someone who needs the intellectual, logical understanding of why they do what they do, then it's not going to work for you if you work with a coach that's like, that's just the way you do it. Because there's a part of you that has that craving, like, oh, well, I want to understand. And so when you get that understanding, that's when you're able to start to make some shifts. Versus if you are someone that works more from, the emotion, maybe you don't need the explanation. And so you do want to work with someone that's like, let's just go. And so it's, of course, part of this, and a big part of this, is understanding yourself in order for you to hire and work with the right mentor. So for me, I need both. I am, my background is in psychology. I have a bachelor's in psychology and master's in communication. I've been studying, researching, and applying models of transformation for over 30 years. I've read hundreds of books. So there's a part of me that loves that, that deep psychological and spiritual too, understanding of what it takes to change. And so I do want that understanding when I'm working with a coach, because that helps me. My brain can get on board with my heart can get on board with my brain, and that coherence is what allows me to make change. So that's what I look for in a mentor as well, not someone that bypasses one or the other, because for me, in my model of change too, it has to be holistic. And that's why I do work with my clients on the heart, the brain, and the body. So really a lot of things going on in the body that often are ignored. And the body is a huge, tool that we could be, using more for our transformation instead of thinking like it's all in the head. Okay, so the third thing is the resonance and energy with that coach. So you all know, like when you are out and about, or maybe you go to an event and you meet with someone and just right away you don't connect, and you almost feel like you want to get further away from them. There's just something, and you can't quite, maybe even articulate it, but you're like, ugh, I don't feel right with that person, or there's something that I just don't resonate, is the word that always comes to mind. And so you want to be mindful of that with different coaches. And you might, I've had sales calls with coaches who I could just tell on the call, like it wasn't going to work. Either they, were coming from a very sort of more of a bully, hard place. And I knew that energy isn't, like I mentioned before, it wasn't the energy that helped me transform. And so, of course, I don't want to invest with someone like that, because, transformation is deeply personal and intimate. And if you're going to be investing to work with someone, 2, 3, 4 months, however long, you want to know that you can, they have your back, and that you resonate with them, that they have, the energy to help you grow. So they either, if you're a person that loves that high energy, then you're going to work with someone like that. Or if you're someone that needs someone that's a little bit more mellow because you need help kind of calming down your energy, then you're going to look for a coach like that. So as you consider, who is the right coach for you, the right mentor for you, keep those in mind. Of course, like I mentioned, always before you go searching for support is connect more deeply with where you currently are and what type of support you think you need, and look at yourself from a more objective place so that you can make an empowered decision. So for me, when I have clients hire me, they come to me for my path. My background, like I mentioned, is in psychology. I worked in nonprofit management for 6 years. When in that position, I was teaching self-awareness. I was teaching, personal growth, and I was coaching my staff. I had a staff of 12 to really connect more deeply with their gifts and talents so they could be, more efficient, more effective at their job, and have more joy in what they were doing, which of course would help them, get higher raises and, come from a place of service in their work instead of dread, right? I also, at that same organization, founded their professional development committee and did a lot of community training, not just for my staff, but for, it was a nonprofit, so training for all different kinds of nonprofits. I've lived abroad for multiple years. I've gone through, all sorts of, challenges along my path, from, the loss of my best friend to struggles with depression, with, self-doubt, playing with, destructive relationships and alcohol. And so all of those things I now see are part of, why I was so drawn to change, because I had all these obstacles come up, and my desire was to, not succumb to them, but to really learn from them, and then to get the gold out of them so that I could support other people who were going through difficulties in their growth and their, career trajectory or business, so that they could see, it's okay. It's okay when you face challenges. It's actually a good thing, because it's showing you that there's so much more for you here to learn and to grow into, and more of you to let go of, the parts of you that still play around with, having doubts about your path and your purpose. So, and then of course in my path, I did go down, a lot of, hundreds of books, hundreds of hours of training, all across the board. I have a master's in education. I've taught at the university level. So I've done, all different components to put me on the path where I am what my clients are looking for. They want that intellectual component, but they also want, the deeply psychological and spiritual component, which has been, critical in my growth. You can't just transform through knowledge. It has to come deep into the heart, and it has to come into your body, into energy, into spirit, so that you come from a place of being led on the path and serving at a much higher level than going through the motions and ticking off the boxes and, climbing some artificial ladder, seeking external validation, because this path is much more inner guided, and there's no type of external validation which will ever satisfy us. So it's really getting to that place of depth and intimacy in how I coach my clients, so that they can have the most, profound changes in a condensed amount of time. So I would love to hear your comments, and if you have someone who's considering hiring a coach or a mentor, share this video with them, so they can make an empowered and informed decision, both from the head and the heart, as well as from, spirit and energy. And if you're in a place where you're ready to get support in growing your business, and you're wanting to do it differently, you want to be integrating, the knowledge of what it takes to change, and really designing your transformational process at a deeper level, connecting more intimately and deeply with your clients, and then living out what it is that the transformation, living that out in every area of your life. I encourage you to book a call with me, and we will explore what it looks like to work together and how we can really advance your business, expand your business in a way that is true to you and is a true reflection of your unique path, traits, and gifts, so that you can be living your purpose with much more joy and a higher expression of what you're here for.